Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. If you don't know me, my name's Richard. I'm on the staff team here. And we are continuing our series called Fear Not, tackling some issues that we experience as we live in this part of the world here in South Africa. Let me start with building off what Nalisi prayed for us a moment ago and things that we know all too well. I'm sure many of you are on your road WhatsApp groups. And bing, bing, the message comes through, and water will be restored by 6 p.m. is the promise. You often hear it. And 6 p.m. comes, 6 p.m. goes, and nothing. Or there you are busy cooking, and the power goes down. Another burnt-out transformer, it turns out to be. You find that out about 18 hours later, and it's another night with no lights. Another week as well of no rubbish collection. Only one truck working in the fleet is word from the municipality, and that one really is hanging on by a thread. You know, it's on its last legs. And so it's kind of the third week the bags have been piled up on the pavement. Monkeys and the hardy-dars have had a field day, ripping them all open, trying to find out what they can eat. As we think about these things, it's true that we live in this weird sort of gap between what is promised and what actually arrives. We hope for relief, and what we often get then is instead another burst water pipe, another pothole, which means another damaged tire, and another headline about millions gone missing while the taps stay dry, while our hospitals are understocked, and while our city crumbles. So often life feels like that. Okay, it's going to get better. Trying to press you first. That's my intention at the moment. It's exhausting, isn't it, as we think about this, as we experience just life here week by week, and so we can despair. That's what we want to think about today, despair. Psalm 73 is a song written by a guy called Asaph. He's battling a kind of spiritual depression, if you like, because what he knows about God and then what he sees in the world doesn't seem to match up with one another, and so he's confused. And so we're going to join Asaph as he wrestles with this, as he sits in this despair, and as he moves from that into a wonderful hope. So that's the journey. We've prayed, so I'm going to jump straight into it. Have a look at what Asaph believes about God. This is what he says. This is what he knows. Intellectually, he knows that it's true. Verse 1, God is indeed good to Israel, to the pure in heart. That's the thesis. He understands it. Surely God looks after those who are trying to live for him. So as he sets that up, that's what he knows, but then have a look at what he's feeling. Verse 2, he says, as for me, my feet almost slipped, my steps nearly went astray, for I envied the arrogant, I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Asaph was a musician who worked in the temple, and he knew God is meant to be good for him. He's supposed to look after his people, right? But as he looks around, he notices that it's the corrupt, it's those who are careless, they are the ones who are flourishing in the world. Verse 4 through 12, if you just kind of cast your eyes down there, you see that these are the ones who are flourishing. They're comfortable. Notice they're proud. We're told that they're arrogant. They're the ones that people chase after and admire. It's the guys that have no virtue. People are kind of chasing after them and supporting them. And they almost feel like they're untouchable. Verse 4, look at them, the wicked. They have an easy time until they die. Their bodies are well fed. They've got it all. And so verse 13, he kind of summarizes it all by saying, did I purify my heart and wash my hands in innocence for nothing? God, I'm trying to do all this. I'm working in the temple. I'm singing. I'm writing music, trying to give glory to you. But is it even worth it at the end of the day as we live in this world? And I guess as we look out at Peter Maritzburg, we might be asking the same thing. Hasn't your heart felt these same things? God, I'm trying to seek first your kingdom and your righteousness that we thought about last week. But as I try and do the right thing with what you've given me, it just disappears into a system that's just this big black hole, right? And it seems to be rewarding all the wrong people. And kids and teens sitting here this morning, you feel this too. Maybe you try to do the right thing. You're trying to follow after Jesus. You want to be truthful. You don't want to cheat. You want to be honest. And it feels like as you don't lie and don't copy, the ones who are doing it, they get away with it. And I just don't get anything. And so in our despair, we say, here I am, trying to be honest, while officials responsible for our water, our electricity, our roads, they face no consequence for their actions, completely under-delivering. They're failing us. Money meant to fix things vanishes into fraud, into somebody's new car rather than into the rubbish truck, right? Into the fleet that we need. And our streetlights are off, sewage running down roads. Doesn't make sense, does it? As we try and comprehend what we see. That's Asaph's frustration. Maybe it's yours. I know it's mine. Verse 2, feet almost slipping. Faith feels like just holding on by a thread. And then verse 3, in despair, notice his heart here for us to see. In despair, he almost wishes that he had what the dishonest ones have. If you can't beat them, join them. It's kind of what he's saying. If that's where you are, feet slipping, take a breath. Just for a moment, take a breath. You're in really good company here with Asaph, this temple worker who lived many, many years ago. And you're in good company here. This is what we feel. And this has been written for our hearts today, just as much as it was for Asaph. And verse 16 is where he starts to find answers. So if you're feeling depressed, here's the answer to it. He starts to figure things out. Have a look at verse 16. When I tried to understand all this, it seemed hopeless. As he wrestled with it on his own, he's just got more and more frustrated until, verse 17, here's where it all unlocks, until I entered God's sanctuary. He goes to the temple. It was, if you like, God's house, built up on a hill, and it's a little bit like you going to go and visit somebody who's your friend or family. If you want to go visit them, you head to their home, don't you? It's kind of the idea here. In the same way, Israel, if they wanted to go and meet with God, they would ascend the hill that this temple was built on so that they could go and worship him. It was a place where God symbolically lived among his people. And as Asaph enters that temple, everything in his mind is recalibrated. Suddenly, everything falls into place. And two things that the temple reminds him of turns his despair to hope. And I'd love you to see this and to know this and to feel this for yourself. First, he looks forward to what is coming. Have a look at verse 17. As he walks in, suddenly he understood their destiny. That's the corrupt, the wicked. He says, indeed, you have put them in slippery places. You make them fall into ruin, like one waking from a dream. Lord, when arising, you will despise their image. Or when you arrive at a friend's house, sometimes as you drive down the driveway, there'll be some kind of little garden, little flowers. I've noticed in Maritzburg hydrangeas there by the front door. Maybe there's a little water feature of some description there. Something there at the entrance that's pretty, and it kind of welcomes you into the space. As you drew near to the temple, there at the entrance was an altar. There should be a little picture of it up on the screen for you to see. Not as pretty as some hydrangeas, but there was this massive braai over there. And you couldn't miss it. You couldn't, and this is where we really connect with the temple, I think, as South Africans, right? There's that braai, massive braai. And it was there to welcome you in. Like with us, you can't just arrive at anybody's house. You can't just go ring a bell and go, hey, I want to come in and see you. You've got to be welcomed in. You've got to be invited in. The amazing thing about the temple is that God invited people to come and be with him. That was his house, amongst his people. Come and be with me. But you also can't just walk into his house, because here is a God who is holy. Here is a God who is perfect. And if you try to go, and it's like getting on a SpaceX rocket and trying to head towards the sun, what's going to happen? You'll burn up. The sun is just too big. It's too hot. God is too glorious. He's holy. He's perfect. But there at the door of the altar was this braai. And as you walked in, you would bring a lamb or a bull or a pigeon, and there it would be sacrificed. It would die in your place so that you could walk in and not burn up as you entered the presence of God. Your sin was dealt with. Your wrongdoing was dealt with. It's like a little bit like if you go back to the home analogy. There it's raining here in the summertime. You go to somebody's house. There's a mat at the front door. What do? You wipe your feet. The shoes are cleaned. The mat takes all the dirt so that you can enter. As Asaph arrives at the temple, he sees the altar. He sees it covered in blood. And he's reminded that God is holy. God is pure. And that means that we serve a God who takes sin seriously, who takes wrongdoing seriously, and seriously enough that there at his house is a place where it can be dealt with. Here for him to enter the temple, but also for everyone, because one day we are all going to stand before the Lord, whether we believe it or not, whether we want to or not, we will stand before him. And here we're seeing the corrupt and the careless who look untouchable for the moment. They look like they're going to get away with it. In the end, what Asaph sees here is he's reminded that everyone will stand before this holy God one day. And God will act. Their apparent success, did you notice as we were reading there? It's almost like a dream. And dreams feel real as you're having them, but then you wake up to reality. Their success feels like a dream. It feels real, but they are going to wake up and they're going to stand before the judge of the world. And notice verse 18. It's them who are on slippery ground, not Asaph. Don't be fooled into thinking that God doesn't see. God sees everything. He sees the corruption. He sees the neglect. He sees the theft. He also sees the exhaustion of ordinary people. He sees their heart as they have the heavy burden on their shoulders. He sees people are trying to hold a street together, trying to hold a school together, trying to hold a household together, and he is coming back to make it right. And what does Asaph get on that day as he looks forward? What does he see? Verse 24, you'll guard me with your counsel, and afterward you will take me up in glory. Notice what he gets as God's child. Instead of judgment, the wicked deserve, what he deserves as Asaph. God's people get glory, gathered, honored, given life with him forever. And friends, that's the same for us. It's why this has been written. This song has been written for you and me as our hearts are tempted to feel despair, to look forward and to go, this is our future. Now, we don't have an altar here anymore. You didn't pass a little braai as you came in. You didn't have to bring a little pigeon or something to offer as a sacrifice. That is a picture. That braai there was a picture of what Jesus would come and do once and for all. None of us are innocent before God. If we're honest, we all cut corners, we bend the truth, we grow selfish. But instead of dealing with us as we deserve, he invites us to be with him. That's the kind of God he is, right? We see it with Israel, how he made this little home there. But again, we can't just step into his presence. So what does God do? He steps into our world as a man. He gives up the glory and honor that he deserved, and he died on a cross. I mean, get that for a moment. He wants to be with us so much that Jesus comes into the world to take the punishment that our sin deserved. That picture of that altar there, that's what Jesus did for you and me. Like that mat, our sin is wiped all over him, dealt with, so that we can be made clean. We can be fully forgiven, so that one day we can be taken up into glory too. And so Asaph's question back in verse 1, that assumption, it's, God, you're good to people. And he's questioning that. He's like, you're supposed to be. I don't understand. You're meant to be good to your people. It turns out God has been good, hasn't he? God is very good in a way that Asaph could have even imagined or dreamed when he started in verse 1 and 2. Yes, God doesn't promise us that life this side of glory is going to be easy. In fact, in one sense, being his disciple makes life a little harder. Jesus says we're going to have to take up our cross and follow after him because we still live in this broken world, which is full of people who are pushing against God. And often, if we're honest, we sometimes do that too. We forget his goodness and we tend to run away from him. It's a world which needs a lot of forgiveness, but it's a world where the gospel is going out, this news of Jesus, this forgiveness of Jesus. God is building his church. Here, Papua New Guinea, Uganda. He's forgiving. And look at what that means for Asaph. Verse 24, glory. Glory is on the way. It awaits us. That is hope. That is hope. Even when life is hard now, because whatever we face in the here and now, whatever happens this week, it's not the end of our story. So look forward to what is coming. Secondly, look up to what you have now. It's not just about the future. Look up to what you have now. Verse 23, he says, yet I'm always with you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel. Here's the beautiful thing. God isn't distant. Even if Asaph isn't the most successful at this point in time, he's not the wealthiest or the healthiest, notice what he has. Notice who he has. He is God with him. It's not okay, guys, look forward to the future. There's glory coming. Now grit your teeth and just bear it. Life is genuinely hard. And doing the right thing in a broken system will cost us. But God is with you. Isn't that great news? As we stand in the queue, in the dark with the uncooked chicken or the half-cooked chicken, right? Who is there with us? God is with us. As we carry buckets of water from the pool to fill the toilet, in the frustration of all of that, He hasn't left us. God is so close, it's as if He is holding our hand. Before Jesus came, you'd have to go to that temple to there stand in the presence of God. You know what's so wonderful about Jesus? He came to make His home in us. That's the grand plan. He washes us clean and moves into our hearts by His Spirit, who is now leading us. He's speaking to us right now as we sit under His word and as we go and read it in ourselves, as we journey with Jesus in the week. There is the Spirit who is in us, guiding us, transforming us. He's moving the furniture around in our hearts as He changes us. Maybe He's chucking some old rubbish furniture out, the things He needs to get rid of, bringing in some new things. He's renovating us from the inside out. And so Asaph finally understands this in verse 26. And what does he say? He says, "Who do I have in heaven but you? And I desire nothing on earth but you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. If my future is secure and God is with me and He is leading me, what else do I actually need in this world?" is what he's saying. He promises to look after us. Last week we saw that He gives us our daily bread. He doesn't just give us bodies and then leave us. Hope you make it to the end. He's not like that. He is looking after us, and He will give us what we need to get us to glory one day. He's carrying us there. Isn't that such an encouragement? Today we go with the Lord. If we're trusting in Jesus, we will leave this building. God is with us. He is in us. Now, here's something I want to add because I think we need it. Sometimes we feel like our honesty, sometimes we feel like our integrity or doing the right thing in this country doesn't achieve anything. Feels like a little bit of a waste of time. The corruption carries on regardless. The potholes don't fill themselves just because we're following Jesus this week, right? And Asaph says in verse 13, "Did I purify my heart and wash my hands in innocence for nothing?" What's the point of us trying to be honest this week? Of paying what we owe, or refusing to cut corners, or refusing to do the right thing, looking sideways when we know something else is happening and shouldn't be happening. Here's the point. You and I, as we do that, we are holding the line. Think of it like a handbrake. A handbrake doesn't make a car go anywhere. It doesn't make it go forward, right? But it stops it sliding down a hill, doesn't it? Every time you choose honesty over corruption, patience over rage, kindness over bitterness, you are a handbrake on evil in this world. You might not fix the potholes by doing it, but you're stopping the rot from spreading through you. And friends, can I say that is the most noticeable thing about the church as people watch in. And kids, this is for you too. Every time you choose to do what Jesus calls you to do, to be somebody who's honest, to be somebody who's kind, somebody who doesn't cheat or lie, you are holding the line that matters, even if nobody claps for you. Because that's how we often feel, right? Nobody sees it. God sees it. And it's more than defense, actually. When we hold that line, when we stay honest in a dishonest system, when we are calm in a chaotic city, hopeful when everyone around us has given up, we show off Jesus to a world who is desperately searching for something better. People are tired. We feel tired, right? We feel tired. People are tired. We get cynical. They're cynical. They've seen leaders fail them over and over again. And friends, what a joy and privilege, into that tiredness, a Christian who keeps their integrity, who keeps loving their neighbor, who keeps trusting God instead of grumbling and giving up, the one who stands up and speaks against wickedness, but is not drawn into wickedness themselves, or does not fall apart when wickedness continues, that person becomes a signpost. Not because they're perfect, not because we're perfect here, but because we're hoping in a glory to come. Something better on the way. This is not our home. We're looking forward and pointing to a God who is faithful even when everything seems to be falling apart. Your integrity isn't wasted. even when it seems invisible. It is a handbrake, slowing down the slide. And it's light, showing people a better king, a better way, a better kingdom is coming. That is worth holding on to. And so let's bring it all together as I close off. Perhaps you're trying to do things honestly. Perhaps you're trying not to cut corners, trying to serve with integrity. And there's corruption this week, going unpunished. And services keep failing. God sees it all. What Asaph says here is he is going to set the accounts right. That's a warning, isn't it? He sees it all. And your honesty now isn't wasted. It's holding the line. And it's showing people the great King of the world. And they need to see him. They need to see him. Perhaps you're just exhausted by the daily grind of things not working, the frustration of, you're trying to plan out your life and things just aren't happening the way they should be. God hasn't abandoned you in it. He's not powerless. He's with you. Again, he's with you in the queue, in the dark, holding your hand, guiding you towards a better future. Let it remind you that this is not your home this week. But until you get there, be reminded that he is making his home in you, transforming you, growing you to be more like Jesus. And he will use your life to be a light to those who are around you. Despair to hope. For kids and teens this morning, when you choose to be honest at school, kind to the kid nobody likes, and maybe at home, loving your family when things don't go your way or they're just driving you nuts, that matters more than you can ever think or realize. You're not just being the good kid at that moment, you're holding the line. You are showing people around you what Jesus is like. And so if you've been frustrated like Asaph, don't despair. Look forward to glory which is on the way. Look up. Look up to a God who is with you today and into this new week. And perhaps you might be sitting here and you're new to Christian things. Maybe Jesus is one you haven't chased after, you haven't put your trust into him. Here in this psalm is the reality of the world. Our eyes don't often see it and interpret it this way, but it's been given to us to know who is in charge. God sees it all, and he wants to dwell in you. He really does. He wants to take your aching and despairing heart and fill it with hope in this wonderful future that's on the way. Yeah, he wants to fill it with peace at the forgiveness that he offers. He wants to begin to restore it as he comes and makes his home in you, to give you joy in a journey that is often quite chaotic before we reach eternity. I want to encourage you to let him serve you. He's calling you. He's calling you. He's saying, I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. Let him do what you cannot do for yourself. Let him wash you. And all you need to, this is the joy of Christianity. We just need to receive it from him. Why don't you do that? If that's you today, maybe for the first time, maybe coming back to him, maybe you've drifted a little bit away from him over the last little while. Maybe you've been a Christian for ages, but like me, have been despairing. I'm going to pray a little prayer. Why don't you echo this in your hearts as we get ready to share communion together? Why don't you bow with me? Let me pray for us. Father, I admit my heart has despaired. And I've looked to things other than you to satisfy me. I know I haven't lived your way, and I can't fix that myself. But thank you that Jesus died in my place so that I could be washed clean and welcomed into your presence, home made in my heart. Today, I want to stop trying to hold my own life together and let you hold my hand instead. Be the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Amen.